I am a god, you dull creature.
Palworld continues to be a major success, breaking 8 million sales in 6 days, and now has surpassed 2 million concurrent players, making it the second most successful early access launch in the history of Steam, though that could be the first. It's kind of unclear at this point. But of course, Pulls are still mad.
They are so mad, in fact, that the Pokemon Company had to release a statement regarding the overwhelming amount of complaints they had over Palworld.
As many who have read this agree, this is less them saying that they'll take action and more like, yes, we know Palworld exists, shut up about it.
Welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week we'll be covering Genshin Impact's latest controversy, Sony pulling a Nintendo, and the massive layoffs over at Activision Blizzard, and more.
So if you like video games, subscribe to the channel and leave a like.
Thanks to user Russell Senpai for submitting this next story in the Necro News Discord. Speaking of Nintendo, they've confirmed that the 3DS and Wii U's online services will be turned off on April 8th of this year. This means games like Monster Hunter Generations, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Fire Emblem will no longer be capable of multiplayer on the 3DS. Whereas on the Wii U, games like Splatoon and... what else does it have?
Pikmin 3?
Yeah, sure.
And anyway, for those wondering, the Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home apps will not be taken offline for the foreseeable future, though Nintendo did state that they will be taking them offline at some point. An interesting side note about Pokemon is that when the discontinuance of these services is happening, the following Pokemon will be trapped on the 3DS, not appearing in any of the other mainline games. They are Patrat, these 3 fucking monkeys, and Furfrou.
Why do they hate Furfrou so much?
No one knows. No one knows why they hate Furfrou. It wasn't in the Britain game either.
Fun Ellie fact, Furfrou is my favorite Pokemon.
Big shout out to user PokePower for submitting the story to the Discord. Sony has done what Sony does best, make people unhappy. But this time, they've taken a page out of Nintendo's book as they've contacted the developer of Bloodborne Kart, Lilith Walker, asking that she gets rid of everything that made it Bloodborne Kart.
According to Lilith, they were expecting for this to happen and were going to be pleasantly surprised if it didn't. Which in my opinion is a good way to look at things. But if you were expecting it to happen, why didn't you just...
Shut the f*** up about it!
But Ellie, how will they get clout if they don't talk about it first? You don't really think gamers would just talk about a game from a no-name developer and spread it around like wildfire, making it wildly popular just because it's a fun game, right?
Of course not. Anyway, Lilith stated that things will all become legally distinct and will still be released.
If you want my humble opinion, if it's not Bloodborne Kart, then there isn't really a strong reason to play it. The meme factor was more or less the whole reason that people wanted it to be made to begin with.
But that's Booster's opinion. What do you guys think? Would you guys still play the game? Or do you think that Lilith should have just...
Shut the f*** up about it!
Thank you to Mastema, Danku Franku, and Badreal for helping sort this out. It's only been a month and over 5,000 game industry employees have been laid off, which kind of sucks for the workers. Part of me has to wonder if nature is healing itself.
Rude. Anyway, League of Legends studio Riot Games has confirmed that they've terminated around 530 roles globally, majority of them affecting their single-player department as they refocus their efforts on their core games.
Microsoft also announced layoffs this week and are cutting around 1,900 jobs. Phil Spencer stated in an employee email that this was a result of a leadership decision to ensure the best opportunities for growth. They also stated that they will fully support anyone affected by the layoff with severance packages and whatever else they can do.
How are they ensuring the best opportunities for growth if they're laying off that many jobs?
Because they get more money. The growth goes to their pockets.
Wow, sounds like my job. Back to the gaming world though. A large part of the layoffs affected many of the Overwatch 2 staff. Jorge Murillo, senior designer for Overwatch 2, posted on Twitter that he was laid off abruptly, not even being allowed to gather his things from his desk. He also posted that the Overwatch layoffs didn't care about tenure, skill, or performance, only that some executives probably looked at some spreadsheets. And to be fair, it's Activision Blizzard, so yeah, of course it was going to be a shitty move.
Former Kotick mouthpiece and current president of Blizzard Entertainment, Mike Ybarra, announced that he too was leaving the company following the Overwatch layoffs, including that if there was anything he could do for any of his ex-staff, get in contact with him. The damage from the layoffs at Activision Blizzard were so widespread that their Untitled Survival game, which has been in development since its announcement in 2020, has been cancelled.
The game would have been a new IP since Overwatch and would have probably been a game like Rust, 7 Days to Die, and Palworld.
Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Is nature healing? Or is it just another case of the game industry's being crap? Let us know.
This next story was submitted by Charles Darrows in the Necro News Discord. The PlayStation VR game Ultrawings 2 was released on the 25th. And for those wondering why it wasn't part of the new games coming out last week, that's because no one knew the game was coming out on the 25th, including the developers of the game.
The day after the game was released, BitPlanet, the developer, took to Twitter saying shadow dropping Ultrawings 2 on PSVR2 today was not on our 2024 bingo card, but here we are. The game was originally supposed to come out late last year, but that didn't happen for reasons unclear.
Thankfully, the game was pretty much finished with only some minor issues that should be fixed in a patch that will be released in a few days. So the real question is, how did this happen? How does a game get mysteriously released on a system with many checks and balances in place to prevent something like this? Maybe it was a publicity stunt by the developers. But if that's the case, why wouldn't they own up to it? Maybe Sony accidentally released the game.
Yeah, we don't know either. Kotaku spoke to BitPlanet and they said, we don't know what happened. It could be something we did or didn't do. Just don't know yet. I will say we don't think Sony accidentally released the game. And then a dev of the game posted on Reddit stating that maybe they just didn't update the release date information on the PSN backend.
Who's to say, but the developers are taking the accident in stride and supporting players via Twitter or email, as long as they aren't stupid.
Finally, given to us by users Goonie and Meliaberry, Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse are currently getting their asses handed to them by Chinese fans after the 4.4 broadcast that Hoyoverse held. During the livestream, they announced the 4.4 banners, what to expect from the Lantern Rite Festival, and a few other things that no one cares about.
Pretty much like every other year thus far, the gifts for the annual Lantern Rite Festival were minimal. Players could get a free 4-star character, sim skins, and this year, players could get a whole 3 entwined fates. Though we've asked people who play Genshin about this, and many have stated that this is pretty typical for the event.
However, Chinese fans of the games were pissed. First, Genshin Impact's Douyin, which is like Chinese Twitter, lost 600,000 followers literally overnight. And the game itself is being review bombed on Bilibili with hundreds of 1-star reviews. I didn't know that you could get apps on Bilibili. I thought it was just YouTube.
So if this year's gifts are so similar to previous festivals, why did this particular year set them off so hard, you may be asking?
The reason why is because of the overwhelming favoritism that Hoyoverse shows to Honkai Star Rail. For instance, the 3rd year anniversary for Genshin gave players 3 whole summons, not even a full temple, whereas Honkai players will be getting 20 summons for free.
Honkai is also giving away a free 5-star character for just playing the first mission of the game, something that Genshin players have been asking since the launch of the game.
So, in short, Genshin players screech at the void while their favorite game takes advantage of them, and will probably quiet down the moment a new waifu comes out, like they do every year.
If you're a Genshin Impact player, let us know what you guys think about this in the comments below. That said, if you are mad, just know, it's a gacha game, so you're already being scammed. This week's Buried Alive Banger, a segment where we cover a game our community doesn't think has had enough attention, comes to us from a friend, called Disillusion.
Disillusion is basically what you get when you mix LSD Dream Simulator, Hylix, and a first-person dungeon crawler. It's a trippy, wild, and funny game, though I gotta tell you, it's not for everyone. Luckily, the game is really cheap and you'll get your money's worth with the first moment you get Evan James Miracled.
And here are the games coming out this week.
Oh god, Suicide Squad is coming out.
I'm a f***ing super.
And here's our schedule for the week. We'll be doing the 40k stream that we weren't able to do last week, and I'll be doing a very unique Twitch stream. More details on that later. And that's it for Necro News. If you like what we do here and want to keep up to date, consider subscribing to the channel.
If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much, and a very special thank you to all of our channel members. If you like our content and want to support us even more, consider joining. We're also trying to raise funds for a new live 2D model for me, so if you want to help out, the link to the Ko-fi page is down below.
That's all we have this week, so until next time everyone, goodbye.
Bye.